Hello, everybody. My name's Chachi. That's Tom, and welcome to In Our Humble Opinion. Today, we're going to go over in this video. We're going to go over the contenders in the NFC and the AFC. I'm just going to put like all the little scores up right here so everyone can look. I know it's kind of small, but we just want to go and talk about it. Let me give me like 2 seconds. Crap, forgot something. Hold time. Oh, there you go. Right. Here we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Had a family emergency. Someone forgot the lint roller. Not for me. Anyway, so the first game I want to talk about, because I know Tom was pumped about this, and I thought it was a good display of how well Jordan Love was playing, because I think the narrative's been ridiculous, and the Packers' offense looks a lot better than it did a couple weeks because they're finally gelling. It's a lot of young guys. Of course, the Packers did very well on Thanksgiving Day. They pretty much beat the Lions. They were up the whole game. It was if Romeo Dobbs holds one to a pass, it's probably not even that close. Just saying. So,
Oh yeah, for
Tom,
sure.
let me know your thoughts on what you think about the Packers. I feel like they are a real contender because if you look at how it's going, the last spot right now is held by Seattle, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think they're as good as them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean Seattle's got to play. Is it Dallas, San Francisco, and then they got to
And the
play
schedule,
Philly
yeah.
the next 3 weeks. So they're in for a really rough. And then
Mm,
Green Bay after this Kansas City game Sunday night, they play
yeah,
the Giants on Monday night, Tampa
should
Bay.
win.
Like they have one of those softest schedules at the end of the year. So they could totally that's where I think people are saying, hey, they can make the playoffs if they continue to show the signs of improvement like they did the past 3 games. But I mean, the Lions game, what was great is I haven't seen this in 2 years. Is when the Packers offense just takes it to someone and punches them in the mouth, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
saw it. You saw receivers being aggressive with the ball. Malik Heath is a guy that's a undrafted free agent. He does a lot of dirty work for that team and blocking and stuff. And that man had 4 catches. Over the middle, he was just making plays. Jordan Love, like he knew where the ball needed to go. He was running the system. It was amazing to watch. It was really refreshing, and that's what he's been doing for the past 3-4 games. And I think when you look at the numbers between him and Jalen Hurts, I'll tell you, other than maybe the rushing numbers are a little different because Jalen's more of a running threat than Jordan is. They're very similar,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this whole narrative of, I mean, at this point, again, as Jordan keeps improving, and I know he will because that man has battled this whole season. His mentality is great. Um, Green Bay's got their guy. That's
I
not
agree.
my. I'll be more curious how the defense continues to get better. They haven't played with a healthy defense all year.
No,
I mean,
no.
that was probably the most wild thing in this game. Josh, I thought they were going to get curb stomped because they had 17 guys on the injury report on Monday. And
True,
4
true.
of the 5 guys that were questionable didn't play. And you're just like, oh boy. And, that again, I think what was amazing really was the performance that I know everyone's really talking about, and it was great, was Rashawn Gary
Yeah.
tore his ACL a year ago on that same field.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out there and just, against Penei Sewell, and Tyler Beck just absolutely
Wrecked him, yeah.
manhandled them.
He did.
I mean, the
He
whole
did.
D line, it was nice to see, Joe Barry get them in more 4-down fronts with guys' hands in the dirt. Luke Van Ness, they got in the dirt. I mean, it was great. They still have a lot of pass game issues. I think that's just kind of is what it is. They have a really young secondary right now with injuries, but it's just, they didn't let him run the ball on him. Jared Goff, I mean, I'll tell you from the Lions standpoint, I think what you saw against Green Bay is a reality of when they get in the playoffs.
I agree.
For that
I
team.
agree. Yeah, he's got a ceiling, man.
Jared Goff, I mean, he's a rhythm guy. You get him out of rhythm, he just, and that's going to be the piece that unfortunately at some point the Lions are going to have to figure out, like, what do we do?
Yeah.
They're going to have to make a tough choice. Nothing against Jared Goff, he's at this day and age, he can't extend plays like he used to.
No, I agree.
You saw their defense too, man.
Secondary's
They,
awful.
it, yeah, they've been bad, and that's what Green Bay tried to attack in that Week 4 game, and they just weren't there yet. Like as an offensive unit, they didn't have Chris. I think Christian Watson had just came back.
I think Christian
So
Watson too. He stepped up in that game too on Thanksgiving because he played a lot bigger and he played the way people wanted him to play. Jalen Reed's been really good all year. Romeo Dobbs is hit or miss, but he's still a playmaker. They're a lot of young guys, man. It's a lot of people trying to learn each other.
Romeo Dobbs reminds me of James Jones.
Yeah.
Watson for like Green Bay, I almost think of him as like a Javon Walker type player, just size, speed, playmate. You know, that's a guy that you can just get the ball deep. Everyone remembers those old 04 Packers. Reed is like, he is an unbelievable playmaker. Like that, honestly, is the steal of the draft at this point. Period across the board. Like, again, everyone really criticize how bad this rookie wide receiver draft class is. I don't know, man. I'll take Jaden Reed all day long.
I don't know who said that.
Because doing getting him the ball and manufacturing plays to get him the ball in his hands, whether it's handing off to him. Just that guy needs the ball in his hands.
When we talk about the draft later on down the road, we need to get into how wrong a lot of times these analysts are because honestly, this rookie draft class for receivers is starting to look really good. Zay Flowers looks good. Jalen Reed, Tank Dell. I mean, look at Tank Dell. Oh my God! Like, what was that? And the guy you guys, wait a minute. And the guy you guys said should be in front of like a lot of these guys. Quentin Johnston is like he is just no.
Yeah, you can tell he played in the Big 12 where defenses are so soft. And I mean, I'll be honest, like Quentin Johnson against the Packers, that guy was wide open dropping balls. Like, you can't do that.
No, yeah, you just said, his physicality, you can push him around. It's like really bad.
Yeah, he's a rookie, man. I'll be honest with you, Mike Williams, even his rookie year, I wasn't super impressed with. When the Chargers,
I also don't think they're.
And now I would argue he's one of the more like that guy can play.
And I could tell you guys, like from watching that whole game the other night, like their coaching's a big problem. When you come out on the field, your first defensive snap off of a kickoff and have 12 men, like how does that happen? What are you doing? What the hell are you? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I mean
that's
the
a
Chargers.
joke.
I mean at this point, it doesn't make sense to fire Staley unless there's truly what you need. But yeah, I mean. Dude, like that game too, it was interesting for like the Chargers. They're just they're just a snake bitten franchise, man. Like they can't, like Green Bay, like they had the help of the 12th man in that game, and the sun, it being a little cold, the Chargers just do not play well, in that type of climate. I mean, they were slipping. Like Green Bay's notorious, like their field gets very slick at that time of year. They were sliding.
I wasn't.
It was just odd. It was like they just didn't look like they could handle the elements. I mean, dude, Keenan Allen dropped like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He just couldn't see the ball. Like the glare. And I'm like, take your visor off, bro. Like,
right.
Stop looking cool. Go make you're an all-pro receiver, man. And they just looked like they didn't want to be there. And I think Herbert Herbert's a really good talent.
He is.
He
is.
Anybody that's that guy's got it.
Well, not only that, he's got his fingers all beat up, and who else knows what else is hurt on him? Because you could tell by how he ran, like the other night, like down that one run where he had the big run, you could tell he wasn't 100% because he had no giddy up at the end because his legs, he was beat up. Dude's beat up. He is because he's trying to carry the team and he's playing hard. I will say this too, I like Austin Eckler, but they got to stop trying to run him in between the tackles all the time. He can't do that. He's not him. No. He's a nice little like pass guy. That was not working. I was like, get that man out the.
And he did like against Green Bay. It was a little different, and he's really good at like he's almost like a Michael Turner runner in like this respect. Is he's good at bouncing it outside, and he's like a kind of a little bowling ball. He's smaller, but he's tough.
But he is.
But yeah, like their offensive line got crushed when like Corey Linsley was. That's a Green Bay guy. Losing him, he is one of an all-pro center that.
And that game against.
Able to replace yet, and you see how. Yeah.
And I don't want to, and I'm not on them for the game against the Ravens because look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Ravens fan. The one part of that whole team right now that defense is good as you can be right now with the way the rules are in the NFL. That's about as good as you're gonna get because they use everyone perfect. Kyle Hamilton is not getting talked about enough. They they move make McDonald does a great job of moving him around. He knows how to use him. They put him in a nickel. He's like a bigger. I know Tom will remember this. I don't know if anyone's gonna remember because it's been a while. He's like when Honey Badger was brand new in the league. They were doing the same things in Arizona with him, to like cover a guy in the slot, play to run. He's doing the same, but he's a bigger version. They just use him for blitzing because they used to do the same thing with him. They would blitz him off the edge. They would let him cover slot guys.
He's almost like too. Like I'd say, like Woodson was that way
yeah,
too. You know, when Green Bay used him, he was more of a.
That might be a better. That might be a better comp.
And those guys are super valuable in the NFL because that's the name of the game. You need a guy that can make tackles in the run game because teams are running the ball, but you also need that guy that can truly cover. So
I think that's a good comp because he's lanky like him. But I will say Charles Woodson was the only thing I'll give Charles Woodson. He's probably definitely a better cover guy because he was a lockdown corner, man. That was the man. That was the man.
He was a turnover machine. I mean, he really wasn't a tackler. Like he would get in there, but he can't make the tackle.
Oh no. Yeah. I would say Kyle's a better. I would say Kyle's a better tackler, yeah, because he hits. That dude. I give Ravens credit. I give them crap when they drafted Matt Elam. Everyone remembers that. Because I'm telling you, the thing with Matt Elam...
I mean, that was a terrible... But look at his brother in Buffalo.
Yeah, the Matt Elam thing, what I didn't get is, it was one of those people, like, I think it was like, they, like, they didn't watch his film, they were just like, oh, this guy's big and fast. If you watch the film on him, like, literally just games from Florida, you were never like, wow. I remember watching, I was like, why is this guy a high pick? He's not, like, bad, his ball skills ain't too good, I'm like, I don't see it, but okay, yeah. I remember
Anyways, like Green Bay, like again, they just got to keep improving.
No.
And as a Packer fan, that's all I care about this year. You know, if they don't end up making the playoffs, because I mean, this is right now like for their roster. This is where you go earn a roster spot for the next couple of years,
bro.
And these young guys got an opportunity,
and
especially on.
Good.
This is where you can earn your keep.
But I saw a thing online too, and I just want to point out to everybody. They're like, oh, but Aaron, because they were comparing the numbers. You've seen it, right? Where it's like they have about the same numbers their first year starting. Well, here's the difference, and this is what none of you want to talk about because you're like, well, Aaron's are still better across. Aaron had a bunch of veteran receivers and linemen for him. He had a very veteran-oriented team. Okay, Tom can attest to this way more than I can. That's not fair. Aaron didn't deal with what Jordan's dealing with. Jordan has a bunch of young guys. And I'm not saying he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers. He probably won't be better than Rodgers or Favre. It's fine. If he's very good, it's still a win. I think he's at least going to be a very good quarterback, okay? He seems like he works hard, and you can tell by his confidence the way he was throwing that ball the other day. He did not look confused. He was like, I am putting this ball. That one touchdown where he threw it in between like three people, he was like, I know what I see. I'm zinging in there, baby.
Well, yeah, that's just it. He's got, like, Jordan Love, and that's what was so, like, I was concerned about with what was happening is, he's in an impossible situation, right? And Rodgers was too to a point because of just like the fan base, like, oh my gosh, we got rid of Favre, we got rid of a Hall of Famer. But the difference was, like you mentioned, and I think I've said it a few times too, Rodgers inherited an NFC title team.
Yep.
Right? They were super close. They struggled with injuries in 2008. And they just, it was a transition year from Hall of Fame quarterback. And they just had to figure out their new identity with their new guy. This roster is the youngest roster in the NFL. And they don't have, like, they had to grow leaders over the years and make sure, like, and, that's where I, like, love Matt LaFleur, and I don't understand why so many people have crushed him.
I agree with you.
Dude, that man had to deal with Aaron Rodgers' ego and all his BS the past the past 4 years. I'm sure he's relieved now. He can actually coach and be a coach, help these men, help these players grow into men and be the best of, not on the field and off the field.
Yep.
But also, like, again, trust Brian Gutekunst. I don't know why everybody's crushing him. They have a guy right now, this right guard, Sean Ryan, dude. This guy's gonna be a really amazing player once he gets full play time. I'm telling you, man, they've hit on a lot of picks. Yeah, they've missed on some, but I guarantee you, go look at Ozzie Newsome, go look at all those greats.
Yeah, they all miss. Yes. Oh my
God. It's
God.
hard because you don't actually really know. Some, like, even Christian Watson. That man was an athlete, and he's really, really good talent.
Well, my thing is like
he
let's.
played at the FCS level in North Dakota State where he was burning everybody.
I think that.
And now in the NFL, you got to go make plays. That's not how it works.
I will sum it up for everybody. There's two quarterbacks and now quarterback's the hardest one to judge. Believe me, I know. But there were two quarterbacks, and I will argue they were busts, absolutely. But I will argue that they're from film to watching them like at the combine to everything. There was no reason not to take them high. Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf were. If you watch their film and then watch them at their pro days and all that stuff, they looked like they were going to be good. Especially Ryan Leaf because God, he was a competitor. Do you remember some of the film on him? He'd be out there trying to win games for Washington State. And he beat some good teams. He won the Rose Bowl, didn't he? Yeah, so I'm just saying, sometimes, like Tom said, you don't know, you give these people money, and sometimes they're just like, listen, I'm good, bro.
It's not even just money.
It isn't money, but it's like the incentives.
It's this, in college.
Or maybe you hit the wall. Best, right? I was going to say, maybe you hit the wall because you're like, damn, this is a different level.
In the NFL, it's super hard. Everybody's competitive.
Everybody's good.
And everybody, now you're in the top. Like in college, that's 1% of all the high school athletes in the United States, right, or in the world. In the NFL, that's 1% of the 1%ers. That's the 1% of the 1%.
Yep.
These are the best of the best.
I agree.
You can't. It's hard, but anyways, and as a Lions, dude, the Lions fans, you shouldn't get too down, man.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. I think everyone overhyping their ability to be. The NFC title contenders was a little bit too much.
I think they're a good team.
They're good. They're a playoff team. They can win a game.
They just need to get that defense shored up like over the next few years, and they can be really competitive. I think it's going to be Green Bay and them eventually. My problem with the Bears is they're just I got to see it because I feel like they're going to make a mistake with the quarterback here. I feel like they are. That's all I'm going to say. I know the Bears. We all know the Bears.
I think they just need to do a reset again. And
I agree.
I think you need to bring in Jim Harbaugh.
That'd be smart.
Bring him, and let him build a culture because there's no identity there. But
I agree.
What's our next game?
All right, it's not really a game. We're just going over the teams, like I said, the contenders. So we'll keep going with the NFC. We could double team this one right here because we talked more about the Packers. Of course, Tom's a Packers fan. He can give you more insight. He watches every game closely. So do I, just because I know that's his team, and I actually have a fondness for the Packers as well. The Brett Favre, again, not talking about off the field. Listen, not everyone's a good person. We know OJ was a hell of a running back, but God, he was a terrible person. But it's my allegedly.
I'm just saying, Gray Lewis, allegedly.
Allegedly, right? Allegedly. Well, in the NFC, I have it up on the screen. So these are the contenders right now. The Vikings currently hold the last playoff spot. See, that's my point, though. The Vikings and the Seahawks. I'm like, Josh Dobbs kind of came back down to earth a little bit. Not that he's a bad quarterback, but he kind of has limitations, The Seahawks, like Tom said, my issue with them is just that schedule is ridiculous. And Geno is banged up. And already Geno's kind of got his ceiling, but when he's banged up, it's like, ugh. Good defense, but even their defense, they give up some points. Great running back, but, when you can key on them, it's kind of crazy. I honestly think Green Bay is going to make one of those last two playoff spots. Now, after that, I don't know what's going. The Rams, they are playing way ahead of. Yeah. They're playing way better than anyone thought they would. I am impressed by them. I think.
They have a softer schedule, right?
Yeah.
And so the Seattle Seahawks, their biggest thing is they got a really hard schedule.
They do. When you win, that happens. Have you guys seen the Ravens schedule come
up? Run defense, they play a lot of teams that run the ball well, and they can't stop the run.
Yeah.
I would say the Vikings, you're going to see reality set in.
I agree.
Like Josh Dobbs is such a good story. If he keeps them relevant, that is an absolute win.
And we were just talking about the Bears. Can I point out that they had 4 interceptions and almost won that game? That should tell you, like, everyone slow down on the Justin Fields thing, okay? You barely won a game where you had 4 interceptions. That's crazy. You should have been up by 30.
I'll say this, though, about the Bears, right?
Uh-huh.
They're steadily, like...
Their defense looks really good.
They won 1 game last year. They now won 4. It's getting better. Right? And,
it is.
Is Justin Fields a guy? I don't know.
I think he just needs it. I really think
both sides of the coin. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but point is,
If
like I said,
if
I
they
really
end up
think
moving
they
off
would be
of him,
better off doing a reset and getting a guy where you build a culture.
if they end up
And
moving off of him,
I truly think Jim Harbaugh could do that. He might be able to save Summerfield's career and make him into at least a competent starting quarterback in the NFL.
well, I was gonna say if I'm them, I take a flyer from Atlanta because I think that'd be a wild team if you get him up there, Justin. Hey, take a flyer, baby. If they're selling,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
give them a second round pick or third or whatever. Be like, hey, we'll take them. You know, can't hurt. That would definitely be an exciting team. I will say that. Hell, and then they'll just be like the most talented young team we've seen in quite a while. Jesse Bates, what a play, by the way. Everyone see that? That's how you jump the route. Ed Reed right there, baby.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was amazing. And
And the Saints, we got the Saints too.
We'll get to them shortly, but I mean, yeah, Seattle. I don't know if they'll. I think they're about to be on a really bad slide just because their schedule is just super challenging. The Vikings, again, Green Bay's got them again. That's going to be a big game at the end of the year.
Yeah, it is.
I do believe that the Vikings will be able to tread water, but Josh Dobbs kind of came down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, the Saints are beat up too. I feel bad for them. I talked about it in the video, but I didn't know this happened like last week when I did the video on my own. Lattimore, like literally like 2 days after that he's done for the year. He's on IR. I'm like, oh, that's a terrible loss for them. And their offense, but it's their offense. They're so inconsistent. That team's offense is it's crazy, man. And like you said, Chris Olave is really good. It's crazy. It is wild. That team's got some weapon. 22. Every time I watch him, he makes plays. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think Derek Carr is super inconsistent.
He is.
And he's not like Alvin Kamara said it best. They don't have an identity. And it's true. They do not. No. They don't have an identity.
There's another guy. They got him too.
They don't really have. I think what's frustrating. If I'm like a Saints fan, what I'm really frustrated about is like why. I don't think Derek Carr is the leader. I kind of see why the Raiders moved on him to a point. I'm not seeing the leadership characters in there. Characteristics, like you see him just constantly he's always like throwing his hands up like, what the heck was that? Like, someone wasn't running the right route. And I'm like, I get it, bro, but that's all on camera. All these players.
Bro, that one throw, though, he threw that out of bounds. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, and, he's looking at it like, and yeah, maybe someone isn't running the right route. Like, I'm not doubting you, but there's a way to handle it.
Let's
be men about it, right? And that's kind of, I think, where he's getting himself into trouble with these players. And you have to lead men. It's different than college.
It is.
So anyways, they're just, I just think they're tough. I mean, dude, you literally, you lost to Green Bay. And when Green Bay was at its worst, and they literally, Green Bay did nothing. They were down 17-0, and that game it made no sense. So that right there told me enough of what I needed to see from them.
Yeah.
But they're out of it. The Vikings, that's going to be a fight with Green Bay till the end. I think Green Bay definitely, on paper, has an advantage.
I agree.
That's all I'll say. But we'll find out.
I want to get to the Rams, too. It's not going to be that long of a talk about them when we started with them. I just think Sean McVay's done a great job. Puanuka, like you said, this wide receiver draft class, I just don't think people did their homework because there's no way you miss on this many. Like, say what you said, and then we have all these guys because Puanuka is just very good at running routes. He catches the ball. He's a good player. I mean, and Cooper.
These are the 1% of the 1% in the world. So you cannot tell me.
No, I agree.
That's all I'm going to say. So.
Okay, then we're going to get to Tom's other hometown team, pretty much, the Atlanta Falcons, because that's really the last one in the NFC to talk about for the contenders. The Falcons.
Yeah,
what do you think, Tom? I'm going to let Tom go. He's been to a couple games, literally. So.
Yeah, it was fun that their defense finally stepped up. Jesse Bates, he's been amazing for them all year.
What a signing.
No, he's huge. He's the heartbeat. They still can't get pressure. They did get a little bit more this week. That's their really Achilles heel on defense. They can't get pressure. If they get pressure, they are amazing. It's like any team in the NFL. Green Bay's defensive backs look amazing because they get pressure now. Like they finally kind of, I think people have gotten healthy and they've schemed it up a lot better. But then you got to, offensively, I think, Ritter's doing just enough. I still, it was nice to see Bijan in there, like just dominating. Like that he could potentially be Barry Sanders or better. Like he is that good.
Ooh, better. Damn, that's a big praise, man. Let's go.
There's a couple like he can just cut. He's an unbelievable talent.
He's
fun to watch when I was there for the Green Bay game. Just unbelievable. But he's strong too. I mean, he can just run over people, and he's willing. If he stays healthy, he's going to be.
That's why everyone
Hall of Fame talent.
That's why everyone like wants to always kill the running back, and I'm like, but guys, there's no safer play, an easier play to make than me handing that man the ball and he's getting like 8 a carry, and your defense is like, damn, we can't do nothing. Not only that, Tom will attest to this. Linemen love when you run the ball; they get to dictate and just kick ass.
Drake London. I mean, I'll still be honest. I don't know what the point of Kyle Pitts is on that team.
Yeah.
He's there. Like they just don't use him. Like he doesn't get open. I just don't think he pans out. He wasn't worth a number 4 pick.
No, yeah, Tom's right though about like he just brought Drake London. Drake London, if you watch him, he's good. He makes like amazing catches and gets open. It's like, dude, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean they're inconsistent. I think they're gonna be.
They have a quarterback problem too. They don't know who to play.
Hey, they're doing it, man, and they're definitely like I don't see why they can't win the NFC South. I don't think the Buccaneers are any good. They're competitive, but they're not good. And then Carolina's obviously a dumpster fire, and like we just talked about, I think the Saints are just an absolute mess.
We'll get into that at the very end of the video for Carolina, okay? Because that's going to be our bonus. Okay, so now that we're done, all talking about all the contenders in the NFC, let's talk about the big boys. I got them all on the board right here. We're going to finish up our NFC side with this. I have them up here. We got the Eagles at 1, Niners at the 2 seed. We already talked about the Lions. They were 3. And we got Falcons at 4. We got the Cowboys at 5. The other 2 I'm not going to count. We're just going to do the top 5. So, Tom, who do you think are your NFC championship game right now, like teams that you think have a shot at making it out of those?
I mean, easy picks are obviously Philly. I do think Philly, like I said, I think people figured them out.
I do too.
Last week was it was a great battle by Buffalo. Buffalo's got their own set of problems. I mean, they just, when it matters, they seem to just completely.
We'll get into them very shortly. We'll get into them very shortly.
Which is frustrating. I thought Josh Allen, Josh Allen just stops turning the ball over, man. Like, anyways, the Bills played a heck of a game. Philly escaped that one. Elliott, what a kick. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, I think teams have figured them out a little bit. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if a healthy 49ers team could actually beat them up pretty bad.
Them healthy.
Either if there's a team that, again, there's film on them all year. So, A.J. Brown's still amazing. They got deep weapons that you got to deal with. But, hey, they're a nightmare matchup because you got to play a soft cover. You got to play a cover 4 or cover 2 shell on them because of just how good their receivers are down the field. Yeah. But it exposes like the run game. But like I said, there's teams with good defensive lines. Like the Bills really made it hard for them running the ball. So and you never know. Like again, in the Northeast, you get those crazy, ugly games like that. Yeah. That might not bode well for them. So, I think San Francisco, again, I don't see why they can't. I still don't think they're as good as last year. I think their defense their defense is solid, but
the secondary is. Remember who got hurt? Their safety. They're really
getting a couple people hurt. Purdy's no good. So
remember, their really good safety got hurt too for the 49ers. So that's a big loss, man. He was kind of their second.
The NFC is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas might actually have a chance. I'll say this: Dallas isn't playing anybody for the NFC.
No.
You have 2 of the worst teams in the NFC and the NFC East. Like they're playing really good football offensively and defensively, but
I want
Deron
to.
Bland ain't getting pick sixes in the playoffs. I'm just being going to be really blunt and honest on that one.
Bro.
But,
All I'm gonna say, I do like him. I think he's a solid player, but I also want to point out every one of these picks is like a late throw on an out route, which is just really bad. The game, first off, Sam Howell played well in that game. His game was over, and you're just trying, and it happens. It's like a garbage time picks. You understand what I'm saying? Not that he's a bad player, but it's like slow the brakes, bruh.
yeah.
Slow the brakes.
Yeah. I think so. I'm gonna stick with. I still think Philly and San Francisco are gonna be. Just
Yeah,
when you think of the matchups,
I think the Cowboy. I think
Green Bay is gonna have to go play San Francisco in San Francisco. That's gonna be a really challenging matchup for Green Bay.
yeah.
Because Green Bay cannot stop the run well. I've seen it in spurts, but I believe it when I see it. They could make a game close because I think, but Green Bay's not there yet.
I think
If
Dax.
Minnesota gets there, they might give them a game. But anyway, I just think the way I see it playing out, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a high probability of the Eagles and the 49ers again.
I agree.
Maybe Dallas.
Eh,
I don't trust any Mike McCarthy team, and I don't trust Dak Prescott.
there you go. Tom just made mine very easy. I agree with him, and my thing is with Dak. I know he's playing well. He's done this before, but this is the game I want to go back to. The Eagle game. He literally gave them that game. They said, "Here's the ball," twice. He threw the pass too short for the tight end. Yes, the tight end probably should have scored, but that throw was any better. It's an easy touchdown. The second one was at the very end of the game. You had 11 seconds left, or not even 11, wasn't it? It was a little more than that. They were at like their 11-yard line, and what was it? Sack, false start. It's like, guys, they gave you the game, and it was 2 penalties that got you down there. Like, come on. Like Tom said, the Eagles, it's part people figured them out. And I got to tell you, as good as that secondary one acts like it is, they have laps in coverage for the Eagles a lot of times. And Bradbury, while I like him, he holds a lot, and he hits big penalties all the time.
Their secondary is good because their D line's elite.
Yes.
And just call it what it is.
That's it.
Darius Slay's okay. He's
okay.
He's okay.
But the Cowboys, though, like I was trying to say, is like Tom said, Dak has not shown me in like the biggest games he's gonna make the play to win you the game. We've seen it every year. He gets into a tight spot and he doesn't make the play. I gotta see it. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb drops that ball when you need it. Just like you're good.
No, I also don't believe in Mike McCarthy.
No, me either. Yeah,
he's
he's
the Green Bay
choker.
guy. And when I watch their offense, right, it's a West Coast. It's all West Coast, and what they want to do is they want to spread the field out 5 wide, which is fine. But they don't have when you're playing Philly, you got to keep an extra guy in, right? You got to. And you have to do some more creative things against that defense. I mean, even the Bills did it. And honestly, where the Bills did great was they ran the ball.
Yep.
And Tony Romo said it, the Bills, if they actually found a way to get in, they can actually finish out teams.
Yep.
So, because they can run the ball. And honestly, that's what Dallas lacks. They don't finish out teams. They're just beating the crap out of bad teams. You saw when they played San Francisco, they're such a one-dimensional team, which is crazy because, I think Tony Pollard's really good. He's definitely a home run threat. I do think they actually miss Zeke. Zeke can grind it out.
Yep.
And there's something to be said about his run, anyways, but it's super interesting what's going on. Yeah. I don't trust Dallas. They could get on a roll, but I don't truly believe I don't think they're that as elite as everyone's making them out.
No, I agree. I think the media's doing their classic Dallas crap where it's like, oh, the Cowboys. It's like, we'll see. Okay, so that's our NFC assessment. Tom, do you just want to go right into the AFC? Want to keep it on the same video, or do you want me to stop this one and we'll make another one?
No, let's do it.
Okay, so I already have it down there on the teams. We're going to start with, like we did with the NFC, the contenders. They're not quite there yet. But, okay, so I have up there, we have the Texans that are right on the fringe. We have the Broncos that are right on the fringe. 2 teams that are really playing well right now. I know the Texans lost, but they still was a dogfight. The only thing I will say about that game that I did not get, I love D'Amico Ryans. Tom knows this. that kicker wasn't making anything all day, and you thought that was, I would have just went for it. Because if we're gonna lose, I am not leaving it up to this kicker that has not made anything. I thought that was a bad choice, and I know hindsight's 2020, but the dude was 0 for 4, right? Something like that. Like, no, we're not kicking this. He can't kick over 50 yards. We're just gonna go for it. It's no point. 59, like, come on, bro. But C.J. Stroud, really good. They're on both sides of the ball. He has them playing so hard. They are gamers, man. That's a tough team. They would be a team if they got in. Would be just annoying to play because they're not going to give up in a game. Really not. And then the Broncos. I'm going to do a twofer right here because the Broncos, like you said, Sean Payton's kind of his touch on the team. I think the real reason they're playing so well though, that defense has really stepped up. Like they're back to where they were last year, and their offense isn't turning the ball over like they did last year and making mistakes. Russell Wilson's kind of just managing it very well. They're a little scary too because if they keep the game close, and at the end, if he pulls off the plays, they could beat you. And the Bills, like Tom said, they're sneaky because they're learning how to run the ball. The only thing I will caution with all this is Josh Allen, again, I'm telling you, you keep running into people, eventually he's going to get hurt. So I'm just saying, be careful, because that man does not know how to slide. He does not know how to slide. I don't know why he does that. It's like, bro, I get he's fine now. Cam Newton was fine, too, until people started hitting him, and then it was like, oh, well, he's out for the season again. No.
Yeah.
Got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean...
I do think, though,
Houston is super... That was just a tough game, man. And like I said, the Jaguars now kind of hit a good stride. It makes sense. I mean, they really, they are the better team at this point.
They're a year ahead.
Houston,
yeah.
Yeah, Houston has so much to be proud of, though. Like they are that.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, they had to kind of go for the field goal there. I get it. It's not what's their Fairbairn, but because he's out, but.
It's sad too because Kymiede's a very good kicker. He probably would have made it.
Yeah. It kind of made sense. It's tough. Like
I wouldn't have kicked it.
Spot at that point.
I wouldn't have kicked it. He wasn't making nothing. I'm like, what's the point of this? Because I trust CJ more than him. That's the only reason I would have did. I'm like, hey, maybe he can make a play.
I think they do too, but.
Oh, I think they do too. I think
there's definitely probably more of there's a higher probability to somehow get lucky on that kick and.
Yeah.
Everything go right versus throwing up a ball that.
True. I just would.
I think that's all it really was, but also risking you don't want CJ getting nailed or something.
True.
I don't know. It's a tough call. I agree with you. That kicker's.
I don't think either way they were gonna win, but I'm like, I'd rather just let him try. That's the only reason I would have.
You made the one point though. How many points are left on the field because of that kicker?
Yeah, that's why I'm like.
Well, they would have won if the guy could make.
Yeah, I feel like I would have been justified going for it. No one's gonna be like, man, D'Amico, why didn't you kick the field goal there? I don't know, because he's 0 for 3 and the other field goals were shorter. What makes me think he's gonna make this one? Right? Yeah. Amendola, you are not playoff Dola, buddy. If you're related to him, you are not his brother. Because I will tell you something, man. Danny Amendola always said this. You can make fun of that man for his speed, whatever. That is still some of the best hands I've ever seen. I've never seen that man drop a ball. You can't even look up him dropping a pass because there ain't one. Them hands are dirty. That man would make because he didn't get open by a lot. He would just be making the catch. The defender would be like, how the hell did that little white dude catch that ball? What the Danny Amendola, hands all day. Mr. Hands. That's what we call him, baby. Any reason to bring up him. That's the one jersey I wish I would have got. I love that guy. And that's a guy that worked his butt off to even get a shot in the NFL. Love him. But what do you think of the Broncos? Because I know you've been talking about, we both have, how they have kind of turned the ship around a little bit.
I mean, dude, Denver, again, Sean Payton is a genius game. I've always said this. He knows how to call a game, and not just offensively, but understands this just strategy. He's got Russell Wilson understanding too. Hey, I don't need you running around like Seattle. What I need you to do is execute an offense. Get
the ball to Cortland Sutton because we need to talk about that man because he is playing like a dog. He is catching everything. He's like, "What's up?" I was he. You know I love my receivers. That man, he's a goblin because he's making. Did you see that one the last game 4th and 1? Guy is grabbing the crap out of his arm,
Well,
still caught it.
you also have. I mean,
Jerry
you
Jeudy.
also have too, like, yeah. I mean, I would also say too, their defense. People aren't.
They're
You know,
playing
they have
really
a
well.
really good defensive backfield.
Yep.
And I love just look. I love the move. This is what I'll say about Sean Payton. He puts the right guys in the locker room, and he understands how you build a locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, and no offense to Randy Gregory, you are an elite athlete, but there are some things that you have, done that are interesting in your life, and it is what it is. They're decisions
Well,
you've made.
look. Let me just. Every team
maybe if you're around good people, but I can't imagine you're a locker room leader.
Every time he leaves a team, they get better. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think I think again that's where people, it's just like what's it just or whatever. Was it Greg Hardy?
Mm-hmm.
That guy was always, he's this really good talent, but I can't imagine having a guy. It's got to be tough having a guy in a locker room that's like just not a good.
Well, it's even like remember back in
very bad decisions and continues to make them.
Remember back in the day, Richie Incognito. Everywhere he went, the team would get worse. He wasn't even playing bad. He just, like you said, he's kind of got like that jerk vibe, and teams would just play down. And as soon as they got rid of him,
yeah, well, it's tough. It's tough because you got to manage. You got to be like, here we go again, this effing dude, and they try to be a bully, and
I remember him because remember how good he played in Miami, and it didn't matter. They just were bad because it's like Richie Incognito, yay. And as soon as he left, it's like some third stringers in there, and they're like, oh my god, 3 games in a row. Like you said, it's a morale thing. You're like, I don't want this guy on my team. It's like,
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Denver's fun to watch. They really are. I really like what they're doing.
I think they could be tough, too, in the playoffs because they got that defense, man.
Well, it's hard to play in Denver, too, man.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they probably won't. They won't be the NFC West winners because I'm assuming that
Kansas City,
even though I can't wait to kind of get on them a little bit.
I will say this though.
It's going to be really fun again in Lambeau. I would love to see Green Bay just be competitive. I don't really think they're going to be I don't know if they'll be able to pull it out.
I think it'll be a close game. I do. Just because Kansas City plays close now.
Kansas City, man, their defense is good because they're aggressive.
They're a defensive team.
They were aggressive though against New England, and New England walked into Kansas City and beat them.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you. Like when you get the playoff time, all that stuff is out the window.
One game. I mean, 2019 exactly. Ravens. Everybody.
MVS dropping the ball, man. Like I watched plenty of those in Green Bay.
I was telling people at my job, I was like, my friend called that. He said that man in big spots will let you down. That's just what he does.
Well, think about this. Tampa Bay in the NFC title game when Green Bay, in 2020,
mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay goes, hey, we'll play man coverage, like cover 3, single high, cover 1. We're not scared of you actually connecting with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. And Green Bay actually, he had a big touchdown that game, but he missed 2 others.
Nope.
That's just been, and there's times where he's made unbelievable catches, and he's super inconsistent, and it sucks because he's a really good guy in the locker room and all that. But what I've said about Kansas City is that this team reminds me of the 2015 Packers, maybe a little bit better, but at least offensively, like they got one guy,
mm-hmm.
and Mahomes has to make a lot of crap happen, and they have to design a perfect game, and.
I'm gonna make Tom laugh. You know what he is, and give my boy some love because he don't get enough love from our fans. He's Torrey Smith if he didn't catch the ball. That's exactly who he is. The exact opposite. That man would have had like 25 more touchdowns in his career if Joe didn't overthrow him by 16 yards. Like he was always open deep. Remember how he cooked my boy Champ Bailey retired. He said, nah, these young dudes is too quick. He was cooking that man. Like, yo.
Yeah.
Honestly, that guy is one of the most underrated receivers I've ever seen because, you got to bring him up. But every time you bring him up, nobody ever goes, what? They're like, Yo, Torrey was good, though. He was. Because I'll tell you what, remember coming out of the draft, everyone was on his hands, but he caught everything. He could catch. That motherfucker was tough. I love Torrey. Legend. Eagles legend, Torrey, by the way. I would love if the Ravens and the Eagles made the Super Bowl, because that'd be... Torrey would have to pick. Have fun, bud. That's on you.
Right.
He gonna be like, don't do it. Oh.
Right.
Okay, so we got into them. Now I got the bottom three of the AFC we'll talk about right here. Because I'm going to be dead honest with you. As Steelers fans can come after me. Ain't nobody. You guys are just like you were when you were 11-0. Ain't nobody afraid of you. You might even win 11 games because that schedule's dog. You know what? Okay, that ain't nothing. Steelers. I don't even want to talk about them. Have fun one and done, baby. Ain't nobody scared of you. You're in the AFC too. Ain't none of these teams go. Jaguars, Boocha. Dolphins, Boocha. Come on, bruh.
Yeah, I mean,
come on, bruh.
They got the Cardinals coming up this week. And
yeah,
it's super funny. Like,
dude, everyone's like the Ravens
until last week. The Steelers, they in their 6 wins, they've been outgained in rush in yardage.
No, that they got like garbage.
They've won the turnover battle, and they're not going to be able to play at home.
No,
they're going to be on the road. Kenny Pickett is just a guy.
He's a guy,
right?
Yes. George Pickens is a man, but he got him thrown to him, so he ain't.
You know, Kenny Pickett's a poor man's Tommy Maddox. Tommy Maddox.
Damn.
No, he is. Like, Kenny Pickett, like, again, he played in the ACC. He was a really good player, but, you know, everybody jokes like he has small hands and stuff. It's like, those are real things NFL do as a quarterback. I will tell you, Brock Purdy, there are times small hands because he can't hit the ball. If it's slick out, you know, you saw in the Cleveland game all of a sudden, like, he's just a guy.
Yep.
And it's just, you know, and it's the same with Pickett. He's just a dude. What they're doing really well is they're actually running Najee downhill.
Yep.
And it's like,
there
he is.
Yep.
I mean, I still think
Warren though is I will say that guy Warren's pretty good. I would run him more.
Yeah.
I love him. That dude is.
Anybody see Deontay Johnson just say, I'm not going to do
Yeah, he said, they don't throw me the ball. I ain't doing nothing.
He did that on 3 plays. I guarantee you Mike Tomlin is benching that dude. If not, they're going to find a way to cut him, which is really interesting. Mike Tomlin, man, he can draft and find wide receivers, but it is really interesting how they kind of become deep. Like, a lot of them have left and, you know, they don't either have much success. It's like an attitude thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll say, like, Emmanuel Sanders was always really good. That one always panned out. But Antonio Brown, man, that whole situation.
Oh, my God. There's a documentary that everyone's going to want to watch because that's a guy that, talent-wise, there ain't many that had more than him, honestly.
No. But the Steelers, I mean, sure. I think the Steelers can make the playoffs because, you know, you see the Browns, they're going to start falling out.
Yeah, dude, quick on them. I feel so bad for them because the defense is elite, and all the injuries just piled on them. But I think the Browns, you don't want to play them, though, because they're going to fight you. They are. But I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. We'll see.
This game against the Rams is big.
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, and they can beat them because I think the Rams against an elite the defense are
yeah.
You know, even with Matt Stafford, you know,
you can get turnovers with him too. That's the problem.
Yeah. So
Colts, what do you think of the Colts?
Miami's number 4. I didn't realize Miami was out there. I thought they were above the Jaguars.
What do you think about the Colts, Tom? Before we go into the big boys?
They're super competitive. They just lost, though, Taylor. You know, Minshew's keeping them relevant, which is awesome. But
yeah, the Jonathan Taylor injury is big.
I think that seems interesting. Like, I'm not so sure. I mean, I could treat this is the team. I'm telling you, the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills and the Broncos can easily overtake those last 2 spots.
I agree.
I mean, let's go. Here's what the Bills have remaining. If we look at this.
Yeah.
Where are we? Week. They have a bye week this week, right?
So
they're at Kansas City, Dallas, at the Chargers, New England, at Miami. And honestly, they're all winnable for them. Like, and especially if they win them, that's a team I don't want to play.
Well, that's why they were talking about the Ravens' schedule. I'm like, I want them playing. Even if they lose some of these games, you are battle tested. You're like in playoff mode. Like, yo, we played the 49ers. We played the Dolphins. It's like, okay, and you get a little understanding of them. You know what gets you messed up? You go play the Dolphins. Hey, you didn't play them during the regular season, so you don't even have a game plan for them. You understand what I'm saying? It helps when you get a little flavor. You know what I mean? I like that.
Cleveland's got a tough road ahead of them, so they got the Rams, they got Jacksonville, Chicago. They can win. They're at Houston. No. The Jets maybe, and then at Cincinnati, that's probably a win just with the injuries they have. So you're looking at maybe 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you
might get 3, maybe 4 wins. If they get 4 wins, they'll be okay. They can get in there.
I'm with you. I think Buffalo's. I think
I
Buffalo's
don't know.
scary because their defense is solid too. That's a solid because Tom's boy's back and he's playing pretty. They have good safeties. Poyer's solid and Micah Hyde's always been a really good safety. He's a solid player.
The Bills definitely have a really tough road, though.
They do. They do.
Denver's probably a little bit. They have at Houston. That's gonna be tough. The Chargers, I think they're cooked. At Detroit's tough.
That's
so I see
man.
That's one. New England's trash. They gotta play the Chargers twice, and then they play Vegas. Vegas will give them a game.
Yeah.
But they have a tough road too. But I think, like I said, if the Bills can pull out, if they can win 4 games,
Whoa.
last stretch.
Pull out, Bills.
Okay. Anyways, so what do we? Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about the
We
elites.
got
We got the top 4 in the AFC. We're gonna talk about is the Ravens one, and that's only because they haven't had a bye week. Next week we'll know who's really going to be the number 1 seed. I think it's the Chiefs. 2 is going to be the Chiefs right now. 3 is going to be the Jaguars, unless the Chiefs lose, and 4 is going to be the Dolphins. So how do you see these 4 teams so far? What is your assessment of them? You can pick your like we did in the NFC, but I feel like it's more clear in the NFC, like the NFC Championship game team, like who you think. But it's up to you. I think right now for me in the AFC, I'm not sure because it's a lot more competitive. But
yeah, I mean the Ravens. Their defense is unbelievable. It's not 2000 Ravens, but that was a different era. But they were good.
Very good, yeah. I agree.
Lamar is playing really, really well. I don't know why they don't use Mitchell more and just run him.
Thank you. Okay, can I go right now? Because let me tell you something about that guy. I don't. It's like I said. They always say about running backs. You can find people anywhere. How the hell did he go undrafted? That dude. Do you see? You know what the thing about him too is that he breaks a lot of tackles for a little guy, and once he hits that seam, man, he gets that edge every time. He just and it goes. Hell of a player, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I like him. I like him a lot.
like Lamar's playing well. I was a little disappointed last week. Like,
Yeah.
that guy needs to step into his throws.
Well, he needs to stop holding the ball. Like, dude, in certain situations, we don't need a miracle. We just need, like, just check down or throw the ball away sometimes.
Well, yeah.
To be fair, though,
Yeah,
Ronnie Stanley is stealing money. That man, no offense to Ronnie Stanley. He's he's not that good. He was getting bummer. He was jumping early, by the way. Just saying. They called him the one time. He timed an S-snap perfectly, and it still didn't help him because they were eating him up. Khalil Mack was like, come here, little man. I got you. Pushing that man.
Oh, yeah. Khalil Mack played really well all year, but yeah,
They were
not
beating
a
him
good
up.
team. The Chargers were
Yeah.
just, without Bosa, I think Bosa would have killed him.
I want to see the Ravens in a couple weeks because I think they're still after the bye week because they're trying to figure out. I think the thing with Mark Andrews, I think Likely's very good. I just don't think they have the chemistry at him and Lamar because Tom knows how this is. Everyone does. You have certain chemistry with certain players. It's like Kelsey and Mahomes where you just. I don't care how good they are. We can debate how good Mark Andrews is. I think he's pretty good, but it's like. Lamar always, you're going to throw it, he's going to know where you're going. You know what I mean? You could see what Likely sometimes they're just not on the same page. He'll like cut the wrong way and the ball will go flying by him because he's like, oh, I thought you wanted me to go inside. And Lamar's like, no, I wanted you to cut it. You know what I mean? The wavelength ain't quite there yet.
Yeah. The Ravens are, I think they'll still stay at 1. If they fall to 2, that's fine. I don't think a bye week does the Ravens any good.
No.
So personally,
I like their schedule just because I would rather be battle tested going into the playoffs than having like a bunch of cupcake teams. Because like you were saying about Dallas, like what's going to happen when you go against a good team and you can't just outscore them by 50 and you're like, oh damn, we got stopped. What do we do? You know what I mean? You got to have a little like pressure on you, so you know how it is.
Yeah.
Like this playoff football, there ain't none of this. You ain't scoring every play. You're gonna have to. you're gonna get a little pressure on you, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Adversity hits, baby.
Oh yeah. So Chiefs. I mean, Chiefs are good. Like you have Patrick Mahomes.
I
Their
agree.
defense is really good.
I
Like
agree.
the two top teams have those defenses can carry them far. I think the question is like when you get in the playoffs, you got one game to figure it out.
Yep.
I think Mahomes has proven over time he can do it.
Yep.
I don't know if he can do it with this cast. I'll be really honest.
It's hard. No disrespect to that man. I think he's incredible. He's trying. If you watch him, he makes some plays. Sometimes you're like, how the hell did he do that? But I will say this though, the media does glaze a little bit with that man because he misses some throws. Everyone misses throws. I'm not even hating on Pat Mahomes. He's a great player. Clearly the best. Love him. Love the guy. But like Tom said, he is trying to. He's the man right now. He's just trying to make plays. Even Kelsey hasn't been as good as he's been in his past. He's had some games where he just looks sluggish and kind of like not the same. But that defense, like you said, is really they're actually legit. And like you said, they're aggressive. I like them. Like you said, top two teams right now, really good defenses. I think that would honestly be a lower scoring game if them two played. Honestly, and then at the end, someone makes a play to win it. Last two, we'll just do the Jaguars and the Dolphins. Got anything on them? I think you talked about the Dolphins, so it's not a big whoop.
Yeah, I mean Miami, they haven't beat anybody yet that's over 500.
I agree.
So, I'll be honest with you, like
I think the only
they're fun to like. I think they could in the first round of the playoffs. They would definitely having a home game. I totally think that would mess with. I think that'd be really challenging for people. I just think if they get a defense that comes in, like the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers could play with them because I think their secondary in Pittsburgh.
They would get a couple. They would get a couple touchdowns, and yeah, that'll be it. Jaguars.
Cleveland, that's a team that could give them a fight.
Yep.
Yeah, if the Bills somehow snuck in.
They're the scariest one.
The Bills and the Broncos. I'd love to see the Broncos and them two rematch and just see what happens. But if the standing, if they stay, everything stays the way it is, which I think it can. I just don't. I think they could beat the Steelers, and then they're either playing. I mean, it just depends on how it depends on how it shakes up. But the Jaguars are interesting. They're so inconsistent, but they're
they're
really
high. Their highs are really high. Like I know what you mean.
They have a high ceiling, but they ain't close.
No. I'll tell you. We gotta give a shout out to our boy because he is stuck in the league a long time and he's still pretty good. Zay Jones, man. Do it, Tom.
Tell you what, man.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones.
It's the man.
Right.
And still, everyone is trying to figure out how that man levitated. Do you know how he did it? Because I don't. But yeah, I think exactly like Tom's saying. I think the Jaguars. If I had to put it, I would say the Jaguars are the team that could threaten the top two up there, really make it tough on them. Just because if they play their best game, they're going to be hard to beat. They can give you a hard game. The Browns, honestly, the Browns.
You sure it ain't the Patriots? I'm just kidding.
The Browns, seriously though, if they wouldn't have got injured, that would have been a scary team because that defense is legit. They play hard. Now Myles Garrett's a little banged up too. I feel bad for them. Their coach has done a good job too. And then we're gonna end the video on one thing. It's gonna be quick because I'm not letting Carolina get away with this crap. Nobody wants your job, and Tom's gonna tell you why. Good.
Well, yeah, I mean, David Tupper, what are you doing?
You fire people every year, bro.
You you invested. You wanted this new coach. You wanted that. I get there's times with Frank Reich. I mean, I would say the same thing. I've said a lot of what other people are saying. Sometimes they just aren't a good, well-coached team. But you're not even a full year into the transition. I understand if you don't think it's working, if you philosophically disagree. Bryce Young is a different quarterback, right, than Stroud is. Everyone knows that. I've seen the flashes from Bryce Young. What I'm nervous about is Bryce Young is going to be cast as the problem.
Yeah.
You can't judge Stroud and him. Stroud could just be having a really good year, and once people figure him out, all of a sudden things change.
I remember Andrew Luck in RG3 the first year. So.
Carolina has Adam Thielen.
Yes.
Their offensive line's terrible. Like, remember, Matt Rule built this team defensively, and they actually have a good defense.
Yep.
And they played okay. Like, they're in a transition. They're going to be back.
Oh, I agree.
They gave up, and what's wild is, they're just not giving Frank Reich a chance.
No.
They didn't. And then even they fired McCown. McCown's was a leading candidate for like a couple head coaching jobs. Like, then you got rid of Deuce Staley. Deuce Staley's had a lot of success in the league.
Yes,
so
they got rid of a lot of good coaches that are going to be well. They probably already have jobs. Okay, I'm just saying you got rid of people that are not going to be unemployed that long, and that should say it right there. That because you can't have these owners. I get it. You guys are competitive. That's how you made your money. I got that. But you got to know you don't know what you're doing. This is not your forte. You hire people to do the job for you. That's why you get a GM. You don't. Good owners don't do that. They don't put their foot in everything that they don't know what the hell they're doing. This isn't what. Would you? My analogy would be what they did for a living. Would you like one of these people that know football to just be like, nah, bro, I know stocks. Get out the way. You don't know what you're doing.
Well, think about this, like the Falcons. Rich McKay is he runs football operations.
Yep.
Arthur Blank, again, he's the judge, juror, executioner, but he's very hands off at this point in his life.
He asked them, "Is this what you want?" Okay, yeah, it's a problem if it's like the Ravens owner. He's probably like, okay, who do we need to sign? Okay, now if it don't work, he
lets DaCosta and John Harbaugh do what they got to do.
Now there's a problem.
You want to talk about,
if the team don't play well, like you told me to put my money into these people,
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like football's not exact science.
No. Injuries.
And again, you got to build an identity in Carolina. They have no identity right now. They're just a team of guys.
And you're gonna break that young quarterback if you keep giving him 15 different coaches with different playbooks. It's like, dude, you gotta let someone grow.
If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm not going down there.
No.
There's a rumor that Lane Kiffin might get offered by them, but I'm like, why would Lane Kiffin go there?
Yeah.
He's at Ole Miss. He's probably making more money and
got more say, way more say.
He's a god there.
Yes. No.
Like, why, why would I go to Carolina where I know I could be fired?
Exactly, dude. You made it so unappealing. It's so unappealing. Oh, if you don't do what I like, we're gonna fire you. We will probably fire you. Not we will. That's 2 years in a row. We will fire you in your first year.
And I don't think Frank Reich deserves to be the first head coach that got fired twice in under a year. Because I don't think
he's not a Urban Meyer level. Like, do we have to get into that?
But whatever. Hey. Someone else's trash is someone else's treasure. So
true. Yeah, that's absolutely. I just wanted to get into that because it's just sometimes these people buy a football team and I'm like, do you even know what you're doing? I don't know. It's a mess.
Maybe he'll become the new Dan Snyder.
Yeah, right. You don't want to do that because they don't want to go into your team. But Tom's right. Like, all these openings are happening. Am I going to the Chargers or am I going to where I have a franchise quarterback and a lot of talent? Or am I going to go, assuming that happens, maybe Staley turns it around. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm just doing it for instance. Say that happens. Am I going there? Or am I going to Carolina where Staley got like 4 years and people have been asking for him to be fired like 2 years ago. It's like, at least I know I'm going to get a chance to put my stamp on it, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Or am I going to go to Carolina where we're devoid of talent and I'm still expected apparently to win 10 games with this team? Like, how? Like Tom said, this is the NFL. This ain't college. You can't be like, I'm going to schedule a Division II schools so we get some win. No, they're all, even the worst NFL team is tough. Okay? It's pro football, bro.
Yep. No, 100%. I really, for me, I just hope. Well, yeah. No, I mean, I think like with some of these head coaching candidates opening up in spots, like I'd be really like I hope the Raiders stick with.
Love them, Antonio Pierce. Yeah.
Because again, that's I love when they have former players as coaches, like Frank Reich. That's a guy you can rally around. He's done it before,
Yeah.
And he's done, like even Deuce Staley, right? Like some of these guys are amazing. I love to see it. Antonio Pierce is a guy on the rise too, so I really hope that like the Raiders are smart. Like, dude, just stick with a guy that he's building an identity for the Raiders, and he makes so much sense too. He's from Oakland.
Compton,
he
yep.
fits the personality. If that's what you want, then you should. Again, you want to build the culture, man. The culture is the most important thing in the NFL. Because if you have the culture and the buy-in, like look at the New England Patriots right now. If you want to see what happens when culture erodes.
Yep. True.
Bill Belichick, he can't coach his way out of a paper bag right now because that culture is. They have relied on for almost 10 years now the quote-unquote Patriot way that worked when you had Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they didn't have the Patriot way when in 07. They were just that was one of the most loaded rosters in NFL history.
Yeah, that was a pretty good team, yeah.
And then they had to figure out how to move a lot of money, and then it turned into, hey, guys that are just tough and undrafted and just love football, and that's when the Patriot way showed up, and it works. But it gets really stale when now you don't have the Hall of Famers. Mac Jones is just a dude. I feel bad though for Mac Jones. Like, dude, every time they pull him, it's like at this point I would just tell him, like, dude, I want to be cut. Like, you can just have Bailey Zappi.
Well, it's true.
Zappi
like,
is clearly not the dude either.
Come on, bro. What are we doing?
Like, stop. Well, it's the same with Zach Wilson. I know I'll get off my pedestal after this, but like, Zach Wilson does not deserve the crap he's gotten at this point.
No,
he's actually matured, and it's not his fault that Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive coordinator. You're seeing exactly why Denver just said we're good.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you're starting Tim Boyle, who what it's turned into, and what is so funny is the Jets have turned into the good old boys club for Aaron Rodgers.
Yep,
like,
they really are. They really are.
Salah's like, I'm gonna healthy scratch Lazard.
Dude, did you see that? Did you see the thing where they were like showing you all these signings that Aaron Rodgers went and how all of them worked out? Like it was like 2 receptions, 24 yards. Like Randall Cobb's got like 3 for 10 or something. I was like,
well, because Randall Cobb is a corpse. Like the NFL's about, it's a young man's game. Like. And I said this at the beginning of the season, the Jets, like, Aaron's going to make you look good at times and be like, you're brilliant, but what happens when he gets in those weird moments where, hey, he can't make those plays? Is that team going to stop believing?
I still don't get why he's coming back, even if he didn't really mess up his Achilles.
I don't think he's coming back anymore. I think.
What's the point?
Jets are like, no. Yeah, well, his point is, I'll be honest with you, Aaron Rodgers is so arrogant. He wants to beat science.
Yes, he wants to prove he's smarter than everyone.
Science.
Yes, that's all it is.
He is such a narcissistic turd.
Well, this is my thing with Packers fans, too. Like, some of them, not you, Tom, obviously, but some of the Packer fans were like, oh, why would we get rid of him and all this stuff? Dude, Brett Favre got all that crap for just wanting to play football. But this dude is a narcissist, like you said, always blaming everyone else on the team. I would be like, Tom, I'm just glad he's gone. I'd be like, oh, you're great talent, but God, you are up your own ass, and that is really unappealing. Excuse my language.
Well, especially at the end. The end was hard with him. And especially, like, starting in 2020 with, like, look, man, I have family that spent years in the medical field and have doctorates, right? And when you have an athlete like him, you can be outspoken. You're more than welcome to have your opinions. But when you go on a national show,
yes,
to basically say, hey, I had my people read 500 pages of research to say that I don't need to do certain things during the pandemic, it's insulting to a lot of people that work really hard. And, again, a man that doesn't have a diploma from Cal Berkeley wants to say those things.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You just go, for me, that left a really bad taste in my mouth of like, dude, get off the Pat McAfee show. And you saw it, man. That man got paid.
Yeah,
on there.
Financial friend,
he
stop.
Doing it to try to save his image. He did it because he's like, sure, I'm getting paid, and then he just likes playing around. He is who he is. I'm sure he's a nice friend of the people, his close circle.
Yeah.
And in Green Bay, he made unbelievable memories. I will always
Absolutely.
be
Great player, Hall of Famer, everything.
But
Absolutely.
It was just time, and I'm honestly at this point I'm like good riddance. And unfortunately, his legacy was tarnished at the end by me because of just like, dude, he would have just like he was never. The reports from Schefter were truly real, where Green Bay had to hire and think of a management system to be able to manage that ego. Even Ted Thompson said it day one when they drafted him. He's a complicated fella.
Yep.
And he was not wrong.
Well, my thing
Think
is
about that. 20 years ago, he said that man was a complicated fella.
that's funny.
So,
no,
hey,
but what?
This is the NFL, man. There's people trying to win games and trying to figure out, like, well, how can I save my butt? And sometimes you got to make weird changes, but
Yeah.
you got to laugh at the weird changes sometimes. Of like, I'm sure Tim Boyle is the answer, Bob.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. That is crazy. I don't know what's going on there. Is he the new Nate Peterman? I'm just saying.
Dude, Nate Peterman's better than that.
He is. I'm just saying, like, it's exactly what Tom said. You cinched it for me, buddy, and I have no dog in this race. I wasn't a Packer fan. I mean, I always liked the Packers, but I wasn't like, that's not my team. But my thing is, bro, literally, you went out the one night on Monday Night Football to throw the ball to show off. What is the point of that? Why do you do that? That is like I'm sorry, I ain't his teammate, but you tell me, I don't care if that's your boy. That's like, what part of that makes me be like, yeah, I like that. I'm like, what is this, yo? What are you doing? Like,
exactly. And what sucks is you're showing up.
Yeah, what are you doing? Obviously, you ain't teaching them nothing. Man out here getting killed. I'm like, yo, where you at, Aaron?
Dude, Zach Wilson's truly though, like he's actually improved a lot.
He has.
Like,
that line's terrible.
Where he's going.
Line's
I
terrible.
hope he gets out of there and finds success somewhere. Because like that man got the short end of the stick in a dysfunctional franchise.
That line's terrible. It is. Just bad.
Oh, it's terrible, but like they just, there's no support for the kid.
No, I agree.
Day.
Well, they were going over
that. I would just be like, dude, cut me. I don't care.
Well, they were going over like his the one coach it was like not the enemy. It's of course he's in Washington, but Bielema or whatever his name is. There was like this coach that worked with all kinds of quarterbacks back in the day that was supposed to work with him this year, and he died in training camp. He got hit by a freaking bus on his bike going to work. Like, it's just bad luck sometimes, and then he was stuck with a bunch of young guys and coaches his first year. It was crazy. I saw a little thing on it. It was wild. I was like, damn. Because he really, especially his first year, he had no support system. It was a bunch of young quarterbacks, coaches that were new. It was like on a defensive coach's staff, which is like, you don't have any offensive support. So.
Well, no, and they would have, his biggest thing is, I think the Kansas City game showed me, like, dude, look what you can do. And this guy, you let him, like, you protect him, you game plan right. And I was just like, oh. Yeah. Even Chris Collinsworth was like, those are, like, dots.
College throws. Those look like him in college,
he was throwing seeds everywhere. And you're like, wait a minute.
You can see the talent. You can see the talent. You can.
He can. He could, and honestly, at a minimum, he could be a really good backup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And at this point, like I said, they're just the Jets. The Jets need to help him out this offseason. Be like, hey, we're sorry, and trade him to somewhere that he has a chance to compete for a job and be successful. Don't or cut him. Just be fair. Do not play with that guy, because if I'm him and I'm his agent, I'm trying to be. I would. Right now, I'm banging on the GM's door like, dude, you need to get me out of here right now.
Yeah.
It is a joke.
I agree.
And after the season, I mean, again, it'll happen after the season, but I'll be like, you're not screwing around with this guy's career anymore. You guys suck. It's not his fault. You took him number 3 overall.
Yeah, these scouting.
This is just like the same thing in college sometimes. And you see these guys, they recruit kids that, they need the extra support to be able to be a successful human in college. And they're like, well, they're just a piece of meat and they're a football player. They can, it's the same conversation, man. Get the support system.
And everyone thinks you're being like, you're saying the guy isn't good when you say he needs like a system. It's not every quarterback needs a system around them that features their skills. Okay. I would love to see how Pat
put Jordan Love on the bench
for
3 years. Just saying.
I would
Why
love
do
to
you
see
think that?
Pat Mahomes if he got drafted by the Bears, because I guarantee you he wouldn't have been as good as he is right now. I guarantee you. Because
No.
it all
No.
fits to Andy Reid. He got the city year with Alex Smith. And here's the one, Tom just brought it up. Here's the one I'll really give you guys. We're going to go way back in the day. Let me see Aaron Rodgers starting right away for those 49er teams that were terrible, where Alex Smith got beat to a pulp for 4 seasons. Let's see how that career would have turned out, because I'm going to tell you right now, we'll never know, but I don't think he would have made it. Because I'll tell you one thing about Alex Smith. That man is a gamer, and he kept getting up. I don't know if Aaron would have. That he's a confidence guy. His confidence would have been down the toilet. That would have been because he got sacked like 70 times the one year. I remember that. It was bad. And I don't think everyone remembers.
Terrible 49er teams, man.
I don't think everyone remembers how athletic Alex Smith was in the beginning of his career. He could run. He was a very, very good athlete. But you know, it's like you got to be careful with that, because quarterback's also a nuanced position. Like if you put him in the Achilles Smith wasn't a great player. I get that, but do you know what team he went to? Good luck, bro. That poor guy. Bengals, 90s Bengals. No. My team was an expansion team, and people were like, well, you could be the Bengals. That should sum it up for you. They were like, at least you're expansion. You could be the Bengals. Like, that's how it was in the 90s. When you're an expansion team and they're like, well, you at least win 2 games this year, and it's like, what do you mean? Oh, you got the Bengals, bro. You're fine. You got it. You'll be fine. That or Wayne Fontz's Jets.
Right? What?
Oh, no. Or Lions. I don't remember. Whatever. But anyway, we're going to end it on a soft note and make you guys laugh. John Harbaugh, as a Ravens fan, get a better goddamn system for challenging, because why the hell did you challenge the brilliant lateral play they ran, and then 2 first downs, you guys decide to hurry up to the line. Todd Monken, you're a nice man. You sat there and were like, it was my fault. John, your people weren't like, bro, you know we got that first down. Bro, you know you got that first down, right? You got to challenge that. Nah, John's like, nah. And then they do it again, and you're still like, nah, I didn't get that first down. We don't get this time. Like, come on, bro. And then you challenge that lateral that was so clearly a good play. It's like, what are they doing? I know it's not him, Tom, but what are your people doing? None of them are like, yeah, challenge that. Because he does it consistently. You know what I mean. Nah, we're not going to challenge that. That one was definitely a good... Bro.
Yeah, no, I don't really know, bro.
John, pay me. I got you, bro. I could do that from my couch. I could be like, nah, yo, he didn't catch that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Likes, as always, are appreciated. Subscribe for more of our content. And as always, Tom, you ready? Roll Tide.